When I walked out of Godzilla Minus One a few months back, one of the things that crossed my mind was Godzilla and Kong New Empire doesn't stand a chance. And yes, I am going to be one of those guys who compares this to Godzilla Minus One, and if that's going to piss you off, sorry, but after sitting through this nonsense, I just cannot help it. I'm just going to jump ahead and talk about the climax of the film, which is the major spectacle, the major fighting that you're coming to see. And it's basically a giant WrestleMania-style tag team match. Godzilla and Kong versus the two bad guy monsters whose names I do not remember and I do not care to try and remember. And at first, the two teams are fighting each other in Hollow Earth, and something happens with the gravity and they start floating in the sky and they're literally fighting in midair. And then they transition to the surface world where they fight in a city, and the city gets absolutely annihilated. Just non-stop buildings being destroyed, devastation, destruction, annihilation on an insanely comical degree. The entire finale of this film is basically a kid grabbing a bunch of toys from the toy box, monster toys, and bashing them into each other over and over and over and over again. Now, was this boring to watch? Well, yes and no. No, because obviously it's Godzilla, King Kong, other monsters, fighting, destroying the city, destruction, annihilation, big, blockbuster Hollywood popcorn spectacle. But it is boring because I felt like I'd already seen this before. I've already sat through this finale before. It's just now it's 4 monsters instead of 3 or 2. So it's more of the same, then more, and then even more. It does suffer a bit from excess, like when I was talking about them floating in the air and fighting. Why do we need Godzilla and King Kong fighting monsters in the sky? Just put them on the ground and give us a solid fight. Sometimes less is more. And when we take the tag match to the surface world and we just get non-stop destruction, non-stop devastation, I thought to myself, there are millions and millions of human beings that are being killed right now. And it got me thinking about the world that the Monsterverse takes place in, where Titans are walking the planet and they're just part of everyday life now. There's even a passing reference to something called Titan insurance. If your home or whatever gets destroyed by Godzilla or whatever, you can get insured by that. And it just made me think about the daily lives of human beings in this universe and how Titans and monsters affects the daily life of the planet, and what the consequences of that could be from a human perspective. And that just got me thinking about Godzilla Minus One all over again. And that's the point that I ultimately want to make. Godzilla Minus One shows that you can make these films, Godzilla, King Kong, whatever, so much more than what Hollywood are making them. You can have a compelling human story and have it be the emotional center to all of the monster action. But instead, we have this generic group of human characters in this film, and they're going to find this human civilization that lives in the Hollow Earth. The generic girl from either Skull Island or Godzilla vs. Kong, I can't remember, the one who was sign languaging with King Kong. She doesn't belong up in the surface world, she doesn't fit in, she's having the hallucinations and the dreams of Hollow Earth, so she's the key to unlock whatever the secrets are down there and whatnot. Brian Tyree Henry's character is part of the group for no reason other than to bring that cheesy forced comic relief that you gotta have in every Hollywood blockbuster franchise film nowadays. And that's what I mean, they'd rather give us the same basic, tired, generic-ass ingredients over and over and over again, rather than just actually trying to tell a good story. And this is one of those films where people will say, oh, just turn your brain off and enjoy it for what it is. I can't do that because I just hate wasted potential, because the story beats they have in here with the civilization down in Hollow Earth, that could have been epic if done in an epic way. But instead, generic execution, glossy CGI, 2024 Hollywood blockbuster. Long story short, just watch Godzilla Minus One.